As of this date today, December 21st, 2018, the shortest day of the year, we have delivered a total of 80 episodes from this very point, MotoMan Studio A. Of those 80 episodes, some very cool cars, some not so cool cars, and some sort of boring crossovers. But this is the first time ever that I am delivering something to you that is, for lack of a better term, the equivalent of His Precious to Gollum. So I am going to be as calm and unbiased as possible by starting this episode with a quote from a very famous resident of the state of New Jersey. And this is probably going to be the first and the last time this New Yorker will ever quote someone from New Jersey. Don't bore us with the chorus. So right to the bridge, the headline, whatever you want to call it, this is magnificent. But not for the reasons that you think. Not because it's a GT3, not because it's a manual transmission, and not because it doesn't have a douchebag wing. It's magnificent because Kumo and I have attempted to live with her for almost 10 days. And what we are about to present to you is our empirical evidence of 10 days of living with our precious. Let's get into this recap. 4-liter, flat 6, 500 horsepower, comes in at a glorious, listen to this, 8,250 RPM, and then 339 pounds of torque. It's surprising that it works in a normally aspirated car here, but we found that out in the yellow car. This is not about the power, it's not about the fact that it's GT3. This is more about delivering power with this transmission. Elevation change, put our foot into it, delivers power just as glorious as the 4-liter flat 6 we did at the beginning of season 9. The difference here is you have complete control over this thing, unlike the PDK. Actually, you know what? That's unfair. You have control over the PDK. This is just a much more visceral experience with this transmission, and this has got a dual mass flywheel. That's one of the differences between this manual and the regular Carrera. That's a 7-speed manual. This is 6-speed. This morning, Kumo digs up this old fairy Porsche video on YouTube, something about form following function, and he turns around, gives me a dirty look, and of course, light bulb goes off. Now, I hope I have not been unclear about my utter disdain for the standard fitment wing on the base GT3. Put aside how I feel about it, it calls the wrong attention to you and the car. But even though that is the case, there is a function to it. It creates a lot of downforce on a track car. 342 pounds to be exact. Now this solution, it solves the aesthetic problems big time and you get the right kind of attention. However, there is a cost to beauty. This setup here, even with the wing up, 110 pounds of downforce. Quite a delta there. So I've been digging for some positive here, and there's this like lip spoiler of sorts. But here's what I'm thinking. That's a gurney flap. I'm going with gurney flap on this one because even though you lose a lot of downforce, it's never a bad thing to channel your inner Dan Gurney. Does it make a difference on roads like these? Let's be scientific about it. Not really. And here's why. Because I'm not going fast enough. For us to notice a difference in at least high-speed stability in the ass end of this thing, because that's really where the wing is going to make a big difference, you and I need to take this thing to a track. what is it, like a couple of tenths to 60, a little slower, top speed drops from 199 to 196. Big deal. You're getting the experience that this thing really should have been blessed with from day one, and that's push it through beautiful turns like this, be able to downshift, an elevation change, and come out to, oh my God, this thing's magnificent. That being the case, I can appreciate that there are people out there that are not car guys that cannot see the beauty of this, because this is more about inner beauty than it is external beauty. However, in my time living with it, apparently there is something about the external beauty, because it attracts people who are not car guys. I've had this thing in a Walmart parking lot, a Costco parking lot, a Target parking lot, the gas station too many times, and where else did I go? Oh, the library. In every case, I came out to people surrounding the car that drive like RAV4s, Volkswagen Golfs that are not GTIs, and Buick Enclaves. And I finally figured it out. There's something special about this car. Yes, the bodywork in the back, but it turns out it's all this trim here. Notice it's different than any other 991.2. It's got like this sort of satin finish chrome, which you'd think would sound ridiculous on a Porsche 911, but the combination of this trim piece here, the rear end bodywork, no douchebag wing, the racing wheels with the center locks, and of course the color. It stands out, or really has a magnetism like a tractor beam to people who don't understand the inner beauty of such perfection. All of this is charged from the fires that you guys saw in the national and international news. There are some homes you're going to see along the side of the road here that are freestanding and not even touched, look like, plain as day. But then there are some homes that there's barely a foundation. Parts of the road here are melted because of the high temperature of the fire. You can see that it's not white, which tells you a super high temperature of a fire, but it's black, which gives you high temperatures and very, very fast fire. Move through here very quickly. So now this is really the first time we're getting back in here. Kumo and I had a bit of a disagreement this morning. You see, I felt it utterly ridiculous to do a round of the options game in a car A, you can't buy, and B, if you could, you're not getting it at MSRP. But you know how convincing that fickle fuzzball can be, so here we go. 2018 Porsche 911 GT3, $143,600. Now, huge point here. Whether one opts for the GT3 with a douchebag wing or this stunning GT3 Touring, same price. What they do is they take the wing away and give you the less expensive transmission and charge you the same amount of money. But anyway, pressing on. The stunning sapphire blue metallic Santa Maria Madre de Dios, $720. Then an option I have used a lot this week, 3 times to be exact. The extended fuel tank, 22.7 gallons, $140. Then Porsche carbon ceramic rotors, $9,210. Then the front axle lift system. Now, I would say this is a bargain at $2,590, but really this is a tax from Zuffenhausen worldwide, because first time you crash that thing because you hit a curb too fast, it's going to cost you at least that. So here's some feedback back to Zuffenhausen. Why don't you just add that to the base price of the car and make it standard on all of them? Then we add the full bucket seats. Kumo wasn't a fan, but $5,200. And then there is the automatic day-night mirror. Why this is optional at $700, I have no idea. Then there are 2 other things. I'm going to only tell you about one right now. Destination, $1,050 for a total price of $164,210. Now, there's one more thing. And this is like a huge debate on the forums with these things. Believe it or not, this is a 911 that has a gas guzzler tax, because it's not the 3-liter turbo. If you do the one with the wing and the PDK, the gas guzzler tax is $1,000. If you do the by far better looking one with the proper transmission and no wing, the gas guzzler tax is $1,700. So effectively, the government itself is taxing beauty. And then all that soot you're hearing from the car, well, welcome to the GT3, because the GT3 has less insulation, so you're going to hear more of that throughout this episode. So I apologize, it's not the mic. In our earlier round of the options game, we talked about the most expensive option fitted to this specific GT3 Touring, and that is the carbon ceramic rotors. In the front, 410 mils in diameter, in the back, 390 mils in diameter. Now, this episode, we're not focused so much on the performance as it is to live with this magnificent precious that I'm never going to give back to Porsche. And here, it's not about performance. It's about some facts of living with this in the past, 6-7 days so far. If you've been following me on Instagram, you know I've been no stranger to the gas station, because I've put about 700 miles in this car and now on the third tank, which also means I've had to wash her 3 times. But by design, if you're living with a vehicle that has carbon ceramic rotors, I wanted to test this out. So I did not wash the wheels in any way, shape, or form. And one of the benefits you really don't think about with an almost $10,000 brake option is no brake dust. What did you adjust? You literally just adjusted the vent. You raised the temperature on your side of the car. What, are you cold over there? You have this coat on and you decide to bring the temperature up. You actually raised the temperature 2 degrees. Do you want to show them the next thing? Okay. The next thing is front axle lift. And to do this, you want to go find him a driveway? Let's go find him a driveway, okay? Okay, you see anything yet? Over here? You want to try this? It's not really a driveway. Oh, I see, there's a steep drop off. Okay, so he says we should try to turn into here, but first he wants me to do the front axle lift. Oh, I see why you want to go in here. He wants to show you the power of Mother Nature. So first we've got the front axle lift system, and basically this is, think of this as non-optional, because he knows that I have messed up the front of many of these cars that have these super low front ends, and whatever they charge for it, it's cheap compared to the repairs you have to make. So here we are, we got the steep driveway slash street, and no trouble in terms of turning onto it. But where we do see some trouble, holy crap, man. Not 1, but 3 fire ravaged cars. An 027 series, like 2 generations ago, Range Rover, and what do we got here? A minivan, basically. Holy crap. This is, and then back there, this is the biggest crime, a Triumph TR6 in what was a garage. Okay, see, this is why Kumo is smarter than me. Yeah, it's the front axle lift system, but put aside that. This shows you, really, the importance of life. Thank you, buddy. Thanks for pointing that out. Spent a lot of time reflecting upon my experience with the GT3 Touring with a goal towards not sounding like a ridiculous fanboy. Now, I'd love to tell you that I came up with some sort of like witty, inspired, profound nugget that I could share with you here, but that sadly was not to be. So rather than telling you once again that this is magnificent, I'm going to share with you some fun facts. This is more magnificent than any other car you and I have driven together on the show. That includes the first ever concept car, Ferrari 250 TDFs, purpose-built race cars, purpose-built drift cars, supercars, any Lotus we have featured on the show. It's even more magnificent than my own Lotus. Now, it's entirely possible you're looking at this and thinking I have gone off the deep end. So I've come up with another fun fact for you. Don't believe what I am saying. I have 5 friends that are executives at other car companies that have earned sizable salaries from other car companies selling you other cars. They took that hard-earned money, cheerfully gave it to Porsche and Zuffenhausen for their copy of a GT3 Touring. Now, actually, in reality, not all of them are Tourings, some of them are Tourings. One of them actually doesn't even work for a car company anymore. He works for Under Armour, and he's getting one of these things. So don't believe me, believe them. And with that, I got nothing else. So, bis später. Oh, if you want to leave a comment below, go ahead, say hello to Kumo. He's the one that reads them anyway. Actually, in all seriousness, you saw some disturbing images in this episode about the devastation from those fires. And I can completely appreciate that people not living in California think Malibu and like swimming pools and movie stars. But that is not the case. There are a number of people living on fixed income, living in things like travel trailers up there, and have lost everything and have to rebuild. So Kumo and I found a couple of charities. We'll put links in the description below. And while we're not affiliated with these charities, we did some research and found that 100% of the donations go right to those affected by the fires and nothing goes to the charity. So up to you, feel free to donate, feel free not to donate, but just want to say that we are thinking of the folks that are affected in that stunning part of Los Angeles County that we have made part of the show for the past 10 years. So now I really will say, bis später.